know what I realized in life? That as a kid, all the way up to adulthood, but mainly as a kid, I really thought about it. I was a problem solver. That's right. I was a problem solver growing up as a kid throughout life. You know, many of you were probably problem solvers too. You know, I just want to make you think for a minute. You were probably problem solvers too. And you say, Hurricane, now how can I determine if I was a problem solver or not? And how do you come to that conclusion that you're a problem solver? Check this out. Whenever my mom needed to sew something or something like that and needed a needle threaded, and she couldn't do it, you know, guess who she called on? That's right, yours truly, the problem solver. As a matter of fact, I solved quite a few problems through life. I enjoyed the smile that I see on my mom's face when I would get that needle threaded so fast. And you know, it became a challenge to get it threaded faster and faster every time she'd ask me. And you know, I could do it faster than my other brothers, so I was the one she called on for threading the needle. But not only that, I became pretty handy around the house, because just the things that we get into, it can be used around the house. Me solving problems and fixing stuff, even though I didn't think of it this way. You know, keep in mind, I'm thinking back to my childhood, but I remember being asked to do small repairs around the house, like if a doorknob was jiggling too much and just needed a little tightening. I was quickly happy to go and do it. Now, my brothers could have did these things too, keep in mind, but I was more than willing to do things like this, because I was just having fun, just being able to do things and solve problems and fix things, you know. Sometimes I have to solve little situations or problems that I didn't really want to, that wasn't in my personal best interest, just from being a kid, like go take the trash out, go feed the dog, sweep the kitchen and wash the dishes. But if I think about it, and if you think about it, if you have any of these things that you had to do growing up, you were a problem solver. You were eliminating something that's at hand. Somebody had to wash those dishes. You see what I'm saying? But me, it went a step further. You know, I remember when I was about 9-10 years old, I got a brother that's 6 years older than me, and one Christmas, he got this little, if you're somewhat experienced with it, knowledgeable in electronics, he got this circuit board thing that had these metal prongs, like a big square thing that had a bunch of metal prongs sticking out of it, and it came with a bag of wires, so you could hook the wires from, according to the instruction manual, you could connect the wires from one post to the next and make a light, or you can connect it this or that away and make an alarm or do different things like that. You know, and I remember on that Christmas when he opened that gift, and I had all my toys and everything that I had selected and wanted to get for Christmas. Pretty happy. Christmas is all the time for us. But I just remember my attention focusing on his gift. This was awesome to me, because I've always had a fascination with mechanical things. I mean, I know in videos before, I think I've told you how I used to take my toys apart because I wanted to know how they worked. I wanted to know the inner workings of my toys. So I would pretty much dissect all of my radio controlled toys. So it got pretty expensive for mom and dad, buying me things like this. But after a while of me letting them know, making them aware that I'm gonna pretty much break it apart one of these days to figure out how it works, they pretty much got accustomed to it. And I even got good at putting them back together, somewhat. They would come out somewhat cryptic or Frankensteinish, but I would put them back together like they wouldn't work quite the same. But over time I got better with it, and still being asked throughout life to solve different problems, fix things around the house, or do things like that. Even when I get in trouble, I'd be asked to go get the belt so I can get my butt whooped. I can't understand the level of fear that I have in me that I go get the actual belt that will whoop my own butt. But hey, that's how it is, growing up, in my time. But anyway, back to the store where my brother got this circuit board thing, and you know, I've always been handy like that with things, and my brother, you know, he pretty much opened it and fiddled with it for about like 2 or 3 days, I think, and just got frustrated because he could not get any of these things to work. I think, if I remember correctly, it did like you could rewire it 101 different ways to make it do different things, perform different things, you know, which was so cool to me, like I said. And so I remember him getting frustrated and coming out of his room one day, stomping hard, and told Mom, I'm sick of that thing. It doesn't work. I don't like it anymore. Because, you know, a couple days into it, my parents were kind of curious, you know, because they knew at 16 or so that this was pretty cool, you know, to get him something like this, because it could expand his way of thinking or things he may get into. I guess they'd be thinking like that. So I remember them asking him how's things going with it from time to time. And so that last time, he stormed out of the room and said, I'm done with it. That's a piece of junk. That thing doesn't work. No matter what I try, it doesn't work. And I was standing near his doorway when he opened the door and stormed out into the kitchen, which was the next room right there. And I was standing near his doorway when he did it. And I could see, so he left his door slightly cracked, so I could look into his room as he stormed past me over to Mom to tell her that he was fed up with it. And I remember looking through the crack of the door and seeing all the pieces piled under his bed where he had just disregarded, slammed it down, and slid it under there to be forgotten about. But I always was a little intimidated by my older brother, so there was no way I was going to say, hey, let me have it, you know, like some kids would, you know, because he was a tough brother. I'm grateful for how tough he was. It made me the tough person I am today. But yeah, so I remember maybe a week going by, another week or so going by, and I finally built the nerves up to ask my older brother, you know, because I would have to even build the nerves up to go in his room and watch him work out. I just really loved my brother. I thought he was the most awesome athlete, most awesome person, you know, like many of us think of our big brother, and I still do. He got me into this speaking and stuff, you know. But yeah, what was so cool, I finally got the nerve up to ask him. And just to give you a better idea, by the way, he would listen to rap music, and I would like this music too, and I would have to nervously ask him, can I come in and sit in and listen to that? And he'd be like, yeah, but don't say a word. I remember it like it was yesterday. So I would sit there like a quiet church mouse and listen to the rap while he worked out. So with the same building of nerves, it took me a week to build it up and ask him about the little circuit board device, you know, ask him about it. And I said, and stuttering like that, I'm not stuttering, but I'm just giving you an idea how I did. I was like, Terry, what are you gonna do with that circuit board thing? You know, he's like, that junk don't work. It don't work. I said, well, can I see it? Just mess with it? What are you gonna do with it? Whatever. Just get it out of here. Just take it out of my room. Get it away from me. So, wow, I was super stoked now. I'm super excited. He's gonna let me have this thing to play with. So I took it. I took it back to my room. And I remember just going through the instruction manual, looking at all the pieces that was in disarray now, where he had tried to start hooking things up, and then the other pieces were still in some boxes of plastic containers, like the little light bulb, the little speaker for the alarm, like a door alarm and everything, the switches and all that. This stuff was just awesome to me. Sometimes we know what our purpose is in life, or have hints of it, by the things that really just catch us beyond our control when we look at it, or, you know, just get eye contact and gaze at it. That's what this did for me, you know. And so, being the problem solver, this is going to be one of the biggest tasks of my life, you know, at 10 years old. So at this point, this was it. So I got on this thing. I was probably studying it and messing with it and fiddling with it for about 2 or 3 hours. On about the third, maybe even closer to the fourth hour, I was calling my mom and my older brother back into my room. Actually into my mom's room, because in order to do what I wanted to show them, I went into my mom and dad's room. Okay, and make sure you know mom and dad. I had both of them. Okay, matter of fact, I got all three of them to come to my room, to the room, my mom's room, to see what I was gonna show them. I'm excited. I'm running, so they come in there, and my older brother, he's kind of dragging, you know, cause he's like, he better not, he better not be done what I think, you know. So we go in there, they come in there, and I say, I did it, Ma, I did it. I think my dad wasn't there. I think he was out at work. I remember better now. Yeah, it gets fuzzy. But I was like, I did it. And they're like, you did what? I said, I made an alarm with the circuit board. My brother's like, whatever. So I show them by a demonstration. I grabbed the doorknob that I had a wire running to. I opened the door, and by the door opening, the connection, it was grounded out with it was where it was like a switch shut off with the door shut. But as soon as I opened the door, it activated the switch, it activated the speaker, which in turn activated the alarm, and boom, bingo. Woo, 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 woo. Oh my God, my mom was like fascinated, and when my dad found out, he was too. My brother was just so mad, he stormed off to his room, if I remember correctly. You know, he was like, oh yeah, good, pretty much went out to his room, you know, because by then they knew I was a problem solver, but they didn't know the level of problems I could solve. So once they went, all the hoorah calmed down, I just go to work. I go to town. By later that night, I made a transistor radio the same day. I mean, it was awesome and natural all at the same time, because I've been destructive over toys forever. So this inner working stuff, that, you know, this looks just like the inside of my radio control car I disassembled last week. So that's what I mean. So you never know. You pay attention. Just reflect on life sometimes and think about what type of kid you were. What were you doing as a kid? You know, and think maybe that has to do with now, because I realized that I'm the same person now that I was as a kid, just on another level. So if you feel like you're not serving your purpose, and if you're uncomfortable doing what you're doing, you're probably uncomfortable doing what you're doing, and there's something else you need to be doing. But first you need to be thinking back when you get time, and just realize, you know, and some of you don't have anything better to do, so try to solve some problems. Make that a purpose in life, to be a problem solver. All right? I'm sure there's some problem out there that needs your attention. I'm Hurricane Maine, and it's been an honor. Thank you, and God bless.